What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of every single trade that we took yesterday. These are the trades that we took yesterday inside our free Telegram channel. And if you guys are inside our free Telegram channel, you guys saw pretty much the result that we caught yesterday. So yesterday I did send out 3 free trades. So both of the or all 3 trades here, we all hit every single take profits, all final take profits. Technically, we did close out the day at a 9R, which was over 960 pips. So you guys can see these are the 3 trades that we took. The first trade was a 360 pips, which was a 1-3. Second trade was a 300 pips, another 1-3. And the last trade that we also took was another 300 pips, which was also another 1-3 risk to reward. So we're going to go over the first trade that we took last night, or yesterday, my bad. That it was a sell position which was taken at 8:19 in the morning. And again, as you guys can see, this is all the free Telegram channel. So if you guys want to join our free Telegram channel, it will be in the link in the description. But this is first trade that we took. It was a sell position. This was taken at 8:19. So very quick, I'm just gonna give you guys the overview and the breakdown. So because again, this is a very long trade, so we're just gonna go over and just explain to you guys the most important part. So the first trade that we took yesterday was basically off this all-time highs, or the previous all-time highs, which was set around the 5100, right? So obviously from the start of this week, we can obviously see that gold had a huge, pretty much huge gap towards the upside. Like once again, creating new all-time highs, right? So we all understand that gold the past couple days, the past couple weeks, or basically this entire month, we've been creating just new all-time highs, right? So we're gonna go over the first setup, which was this new areas over here, which was the all-time highs at the 5100, right? So notice on Monday during the early London session, once we came over here and formed a new all-time highs, price session kind of had a reaction from it, right? We formed it, we kind of sold off, price session came back once again here during the New York session, and once again we continue selling off, right? So we continue selling off, and price session had a deeper pullback, which came back to pretty much fill up this entire gap from Sunday market open, right? So every time there's a gap in the market likes to pretty much come back towards this area to fill it up, to continue pushing the trend towards whatever direction it was, right? In this case over here, it was a bullish market, right? Now, notice pretty much once we filled up this entire gap over here in price action, started pushing back towards the upside, right? This is where I had marked up 2 key levels yesterday. So if we go back here in the Telegram, I do believe I sent out a chart that it was the before, or I actually didn't, but this was pretty much exactly where it was. So I had these 2 key levels marked up. We had the daily highs, we had marked up the daily lows, and we also had marked up these entire 2 key intraday's level, right? So if you guys have seen the previous video, which is my 5-step system, which is pretty much how I mark up the charts and how do I look for the on setup, this is technically going over it, right? So as always, we're always going to mark up the previous day's high, previous day's lows, which can be used as previous, it can be used as target structure or also liquidity grab. So in this case over here, we did use these levels over here as buy side liquidity, right? So notice one price session, once we had pretty much filled up this gap over here from Sunday, we started having a nice bullish push towards the upside, right? Now again, if you guys go here in the 1 hour time frame, from this time frame structure, we can see that there wasn't very a clear market structure trend, right? Even with this heavy selling pressure towards the downside, right? There wasn't 100% yet, selling opportunity, due to the fact that price session, as soon as we came back to retest this broken structure, yes, we did sell off. But then notice how price session started picking up structure back towards the upside after price session came back and pretty much, filled up this entire gap that happened on the market session open on Sunday, right? So if price action obviously would have broken underneath these zones over here, that's exactly where price action could have possibly have, a market shift to structure. And we probably could have, even sold off a little bit deeper, and we probably could have come, anywhere between these key levels right over here. But that was not the case. We filled it up, and then price action started pushing back towards the upside. Now, this other key intraday level that I had marked out was the 55, right? Now, the main reason why I marked up this key level 50-55 was simply because notice how in the previous price action that happened over here during Monday, you guys can see how price action right over here was pretty much buying off, right? So there was a lot of buyers orders around these exact levels. So Notice how we broke structure, we came back, respected it, boom, bought the market. Price action came back over here, respected it, bought the market. So this was a support that was built on Monday. And then as well, on Monday, we broke underneath this structure, price action came back, we used it as resistance. What did we see? We did see another sell-off, right? Another gap towards the market. Market broke back structure, respected the structures of support, used it as resistance, and we sold off. But same thing that happened here on Sunday, which is what we came back to fill it up. Same thing happened here on Monday. We came back to fill up this entire market session gap, right? So we started breaking above structure, and once again, this areas of support was once a resistance, and then once again, used it as an area of support. So it was an intraday key level that we needed to mark up, right? This is something that we had in mind. Now, we were trading around this areas of resistance, right? Notice how price action, we came back one time, rejected, two times, three times, rejected. We came back over here during the London session on Tuesday market, and we kind of sold off. Price session respected from this structures over here, which was another key level that I had marked up. And then price action started pushing the market back towards the upside, right? So this was another thing to keep in mind. This is a intraday or minor level that I had marked up, because over here, this was a previous bullish order block right over here, right, where price action was respecting. And obviously, since we did break above the structures over here, obviously whenever we're going along with the trend, in this case over here, we are building or printing, all-time highs, and as well creating higher highs and higher lows. So as after price action came back and filled up the gap, we had the first lows, the highs, the higher lows, the higher highs, the higher lows, respected support, respected EMA, broke above structure, formed a new higher high, and then once again a higher low, and then a equal high. Boom. This equal high right over here was the main confirmation from this entire sales, right? So in that case over here, since we are trading underneath this exact level of resistance, right? We are trading underneath this exact level of resistance, which was also previous all-time highs. As you guys can see right over here, we came back and we also formed an equal highs, right? And in this case, to continue this entire bullish volume towards the upside, the right thing for us to be looking at this point over here was for price action to actually break above this structure. But notice how many times sellers were protecting it, right? So that shows us that obviously sellers are very strong protecting this key level, which is 5,100. We also created an equal high as soon as price action was building up this entire new higher highs and higher low structure, right? And then as well, notice this 15 candles right over here, which was very weak. So this was another confirmation. It was a weak candle closure. We kind of wicked it and we sold off. Same thing happened over here. We came back, we rejected immediately, and price action built up this beautiful 15-minute order block right over here. Going here in the 5-minute time frame, same thing happened. We pulled up, weak candles, broke underneath structure, beautiful 5-minute order block right over here. So this was early during the New York session, where price session, as soon as we rejected these highs over here, we did kind of pull back towards this order block, we rejected it, and we sold off, right? Now keep in mind, remember the key level that I told you guys over here, which was kind of holding as a minor support, which is around the 50,075 level, right? Notice how price session, as soon as we came back, we built up another equal highs, another minor equal highs. We came back, retested this order block once again. So this was 2-3 times touch of this order block, where it was showing us that there was a lot of selling opportunities around these zones over here, right? So this is one, and then we have 2-3 couple times retest of this structure, right? And notice how every time the price action came back towards this bearish order block, right? Notice every time that we come back towards this bearish order block, there is weak candle showing us that there is buy side liquidity towards the upside, showing us that once again the sellers are active protecting this exact order block. So we have a rejection, we sold off, price action came back, another rejection, and it's showing us that the bullish volume over here is slowly fading away, and especially that we are trading underneath this main area of resistance. So we have main areas of resistance, multiple rejection, we have London session fading, breaking towards the upside, sold off. We have New York session over here failing to break towards the upside, another sell off, and we also have this bearish order block right over here, which price session once again respected it 2 times, and we kind of sold off. So these were the main confirmation for us. and my entry candle was technically this right over here, which was at 8:15. So I did end up sending this signal. The signal over here was sent out at 8:19 in the morning. So I did take this entry off a 1 minute time frame, but again, everything was based off the 15 and the 5 minutes. So as soon as we started seeing price action fail to break towards the upside, this 1 minute bearish engulfing candle was my entry signal, right? So as you guys can see, we just simply got liquidity towards the upside, respected 5 minute, 15 minute order block, and this was my 1 minute entry candle right over here. We took the trade, and as you guys can see, we did target our main key intraday level once again, which is 50.55, which is this main exact support. So we had a nice stop loss, which was above these key levels, and we also had our nice take profit, which was this intraday support zone right over here. Beautiful trade. Now, once again, notice how once we came over here, we respected a price action, grabbed liquidity from this exact demand zone. And what happened next? Price action started breaking back above structure, right? I was looking for more potential sells, right? So if we go here inside the Telegram, as soon as we hit every single take profit, I told everyone that I will be looking for more sells. So let's go right over here. So check this out. Let's see, we may see more selling coming in. Obviously keep an eye, this was at 926. And by the way, this trade over here, we did hit final take profits in just 1 hour. So beautiful trade. Enter the market, exit the market in 1 hour. And this was the profit that I made yesterday from this exact trade, which was over 8,000 in 1 hour. So moving on to the next trade. As you guys can see, we did send out like, hey, you know, we're gonna be looking for more sells at 926. That was pretty much what we were looking for. What was the next thing that happened? So as soon as we tapped into this exact support, right? Let me see, because the market just opened, so I do have alarms. No, there's nothing going on yet. Let's see here. Nah, we're still good. We're good, guys. So as soon as I send out, hey, you know, we are going to see more potential sells right now. The main reason why I said that was simply because if you guys notice over here on the intraday, we did break underneath this structure, right? This minor support has broken underneath. So obviously we're just going along with the trend. So we have these highs, lows, lower highs, lower lows. Price action broke structure. The main idea was for price action to come back, retest it to sell off. And that's exactly what price action did. Now, the only thing that I did not like from here was just how the hourly candle, right? At that time over here, the hourly candle was a very long wick, right? Which is just mostly grabbing liquidity, right? In that case over here, since we are respecting this exact demand zone, my, you know, perspective from this point over here was like, hey, you know, this can be an accumulation, a manipulation, and then a distribution towards the upside, which later on into the market session, you guys can see it kind of was, right? I just did not like the 1 hour candle, how it was pretty much opening and closing, which was just a simple long wick rejection towards the upside, right? But it could have been a quick scalp, but obviously we're just looking for a setup that actually makes sense. So this was the pullback, right? And then also notice the 15-minute candles, which was obviously a bullish confirmation here as well, especially rejecting off this demand zone. So this was not a very good quality trade, right? But it could have been a scalp trade. But notice how we broke structure. If I did had a limit set right over here at 40.75, my stop loss could have been right over here. And we could have targeted back towards the same exact lows, a little bit lower, but we could have at least profit over 250 pips, which would have been a 1 or 2 risk to reward. But once again, we're looking for high quality setups, and there was no entry confirmation for us here. But this was pretty much the second selling opportunity that we could have taken, right? Now check this out. The next trade, we go here. I told everyone, hey, early session, we saw that price action rejected off the major resistance, which was 5100, and it dropped straight into the 50.55. An intraday demand zone where buyers stepped in again, and once again, price action broke structure. Later in the session, price action built up, bullish price action started building up, and, you know, obviously price built structure above the 50.70, which is creating a new buy areas of interest. So going over it, this was the support. We broke structure. Basically 50.75 was my main areas of interest to look for buy positions, right? So at this point, I'm just being patient, right? If we're waiting for price action to come to us, I'm either looking for a break of structure above the 5100. So break of structure above 5100 was the main idea, or a pullback towards the 50.75 with bullish price action to buy the market. So as you guys can see, this was the before chart. And then this was the after. Notice how price action, we rejected the 5100. This was a kind of turn off for me. It wasn't a very good setup completely just yet. Was due to the fact how price action came back to retest and rejected off this entire selling opportunities right over here, right? Or basically rejecting off this resistance. And notice how the bullish volume, once again, we had a buy side liquidity towards the upside, showing us that buyers are slowly dying off. And then price action started slowly, once again, pushing back towards the downside, right? So if you guys look towards the left side, very similar price action, very similar price action, very similar price action. So yes, we did get the pullback towards this level. It was just these candles right over here that was kind of turning me off. It was not just a good entry confirmation for me. So what I did was, hey, we're gonna go again, patient. Price did pull back into the 50-70. We did see some bullish price action bounce, but not a high quality for us to take. So again, this is everything that aligns with my system. Not every single trade, not every single plan. It might look good, but if the candles or the price session is not giving us what we want, then obviously we're not going to be taking these type of trades. So as well, notice how we rejected the 5100, showing us that sellers are protecting these zones. Once again, these areas of resistance, right? At this point over here as well, protecting the zone, which is very strong, and bullish price session is slowly dying off. So again, we have this 15-minute. What do we build up over here? Another 15-minute order block, which is the same exact setup that we took right over here, which was formed right at this point over here. And then notice that we pulled back, we rejected it, we pulled back, we rejected. So what do we do here? We actually end up taking a sell limit at 50.98, 5100, which was right over here. This was the sell limit that we ended up taking as soon as price action was rejecting off this order block. Now, what happens next? As you guys can see, there goes gold again, once again, creating a new all-time highs, and we broke above the structure. So that was a stop loss hit. So that was one loss that we took yesterday, stop loss hit. Now, notice this huge 15-minute candles breaking towards the upside. So at this point here, obviously, if we were more of like, if we were not trading this session, we would just wait for a better price session to build up. But yesterday I was very locked in into the New York session, so I really wanted to, take advantage of this entire new all-time highs that price session was making, right? And all you guys got to do simply here is just literally just follow the trend, right? Not go against it, just follow the trend. So this huge 15-minute candle, as you guys can see, it was over 400 plus pips. So at this point over here, since this happened, we're just going to be scalping the market. So what am I going to look for? Technically, everything that I look for, we're just going to apply it now in the opposite direction. So in the 5-minute time frame, notice this 5-minute bullish order block towards the upside. 1-minute time frame as well. Notice this beautiful bullish order block over here. Notice how price action broke structure. We came back, we built up support. Support, bullish, expand, came back, respected it, and another bullish push towards the upside. I sent out a buy position at 3:38 in the afternoon, so this was late during the New York session. My entry confirmation was just basically how price action came back towards the order block. We respected, especially after this huge imbalance towards the upside, and we also broke above structure. So at this point over here, we're just scalping the market and just following along with the trend. So as soon as we saw this huge wick rejection towards the downside and we closed above it, that was my entry confirmation. This is exactly where I did send out this signal. And once again, as you guys can see, obviously there is no target to target from the left side since price action just continues breaking or creating new all-time highs. So this was a trade that we took. Once again, very simple. It was just a pullback and just going along with the trend, pulling back towards this order block, respected it, and we got our entry, which was this beautiful 1-minute bullish engulfing candle towards the upside. And that's exactly where I did end up sending the signal. And as you guys can see, once again, we end up hitting every single take profit. So this is a profit of the day from yesterday as well, especially from the 8,000. This is going, or 8,000 plus I lost 3,000 with the last trade. And with this setup over here, I made another $4,000. So beautiful trade. Now, going into the last trade, which was at 836, right? This was 836. Once again, you guys can see how price action just continues breaking above structure. So this trade over here was another scalping opportunity. So what do we do here? What do we have here? We have resistance, right? We have new all-time highs. Price action respected this other order block formed right over here. Or basically trading from key levels to key levels. What are we waiting for at this point? We're just simply waiting for breakouts. We have a break towards the upside, break above these all-time highs. What is the pretty much market structure right over here? We are creating all-time highs, creating new higher highs and higher lows. We broke above the structure. We pulled back. What are we respecting? We are respecting the VWAP. We're respecting market structure. We are trading along the trend. Very simple. If you guys go over here on the 1 minute time frame, all I'm waiting for here is just to see the pullback towards this key level. Notice how we broke structure. We came back, we respected it, broke back above structure. We're building up this nice area of support, right? Now this was my entry confirmation, which is just price action pulling back towards these minor order blocks right over here. We're respecting it. Support, 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 broke structure, minus support, broke structure, came back, got my entry confirmation, entered the market. I sent it out inside the signal room. This was at 8:36. Originally, my entry could have been right over here, which is exactly where the entry I wanted. But since price action kind of dipped a little lower, this was my entry right over here. But my original entry was at 51.92. So that's exactly where I told everyone, hey, enter now. 51.88. This was our entry. I had two entries. So I had an entry at 51.92, which was this bullish candle where I was gonna send out the signal. So this is technically where I told everyone, hey, who's active? 8:31. 8:31 was right over here. This was my personal entry, and then I end up sending out the signal as well. So again, my entry was just basically price action respecting the structure, broke above structure right over here, and we just came back to retest it. Bullish closure, my entry confirmation. But since price action, once again, like I told you guys, I entered kind of earlier. I sent out the signal at 20:38, which was 8:36. Got my entry confirmation, send it on the group chat. Once again, as you guys can see, since we don't have other targets, price action just perfectly went along with the trend. So this setup over here was just price action breaking above structure, building up minor bullish structures over here. We took our entry. This one over here was just a retest of this 5-minute order block, retest of the minor order blocks over here, build up support, bullish engulfing closure from the 1 minute time frame, once again going along with the trend. So very simple trade that we took yesterday. This one, as you guys can see as well, we end up hitting every single take profits. So we had a beautiful Wednesday, which we pretty much call over 960 pips at 9R risk to reward. So we had a fantastic Wednesday. All of this trade here was called out for free. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the overview. Once again, if you guys want to join our free Telegram channel where you guys are going to receive signals, pretty much free signals every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Friday, just click the link down below. And if you guys want to join the VIP, which basically gets signals every single day, you guys can also click the link down below. So I'll see you guys on the next one.